Hey everybody, so today I'm going to be making myself a little medicine for a cold that I've got, and I thought I was going to get through winter, but here we go. The body needs to process what the body needs to process, I guess. So normally what I would do is, and I already started with this, is I went immediately for a protocol of my winter tincture that I make. This is something that I make every year. I'm going to teach you how to make something else, and I'm going to include olive leaf in. If you can get yourself, you can hear that I'm a bit sinusy. If you can get your hands on some of this olive leaf, it would actually be great, because the active chemical, the oleuropein, is really, really good for kicking viruses in the butt. But if not, don't worry, you can actually just leave it out and do the rest of the ingredients. Alright, so we've got some ginger over here, and we've got some cayenne pepper, some people pronounce it cayenne pepper, normal bicarbonate of soda, and then good old lemon juice. And if you need a mortar and pestle to blend everything up in, that's great. And then choose a pot that you love and inspires you. So we're going to mix these ingredients together. It's a very simple mix, but this is going to work really, really well, especially if you've got congestion in the sinuses, and if you get a little bit phlegmy or mucousy, if the kapha dosha, the element of earth and water, get unbalanced, as we would say in Ayurveda, then and so your head feels like it's full of water, and you're feeling stuffy in the head, and like everything is thick, and there's a lot of sinus and mucus and all these gross things, then this is really going to be great for you. So here we go. Alright, so the next thing now is to put our ingredients together, and I'll explain a little bit about what each of these ingredients do as well. So the bicarb is helpful to neutralize any excess acid within the body, as well as to alkalize, and also to clear the body out of any infections. The lemon juice is really, really good, because lemon juice is a natural antiseptic, and it also helps to clear and cleanse the body of any and all toxins. It cleans the liver and the blood. And when you have an especially sinusy, or sorry to say this, kind of like snotty or mucousy cold, or you're feeling a lot of congestion, then lemon is the magic ingredient. And what I learned from a good teacher of mine many years ago is that you actually must remove all dairy from your diet for a day, maybe 2 days if it's really bad, and instead of having milk, rather just have lemon in everything. I mean, right now, even as I'm recording this video, I've got a glass of lemon juice right here to help clear the cold. And I know it's tempting to want to have a cup of tea with some cow dairy if you have cow's milk, but it just makes the mucus worse. It builds the mucus. So lemon juice only. And then your cayenne pepper. This is really, really good for kind of evoking a little bit of heat in the body. It's also very cleansing for the blood, but it evokes heat in the body and helps you to sweat out the problems. And that's similar to what ginger does as well. Ginger also works within the vein of stimulating heat to burn out any problems, any illnesses or viruses. But it's also just really, really good for helping to cure the symptoms of cold and flu. And then if you can get this amazing olive leaf, maybe you know somebody who grows an olive tree or has an olive grove, then this is also really, really nice to use. But again, not compulsory, just something I'm adding in because it really works really well. And then of course you can always get, if you can find a supplier of tincture, but don't add tincture into boiling hot water because the alcohol will evaporate. Just add it in at the end, or add it in when it's cooler. Alright, so very, very simple, of course, and I'm sure many of you have had some great times and experiences where you've made your own homemade remedies and concoctions, and I think it's really important to get back to these ways of doing and being things. So You'll notice that I'm adding some lemon juice in now. I'm going to add a little bit more at the end, but this is just to give it a little bit of an acidic base, and then to just gently extract the active properties of the cayenne pepper and the olive, because I'm using the olive leaf raw, just like this. So if you have the olive, you can add it and be quite liberal with it. Normally I would crush it up in the mortar and pestle, but for today I'm feeling quite yuck, so I'm just going to make this tea quickly and then hop back into bed. This tea will, depending on how much cayenne pepper and ginger you add into it and how hot you drink it, it will most likely bring up your body temperature. So you want to cover yourself with blankies and maybe even have a nice warm bath, hot bath. It's good to put mustard in the bath as well to increase a little bit of the heat in the body to stimulate the temperature, because we want to sweat all of that stuff out, because isn't that what a fever is really? It's just stimulating heat so that the body can burn up all the rubbish, all the bacteria and all of those things that are causing these problems. So I like ginger, so I'm being very, very liberal. You will notice that I'm not measuring anything in this recipe. That's probably not the classical professional route to go, but I've learned over many years of working with herbs and plants to work quite intuitively with the plant, and with my body, it also knows how much I need. So I'm quite liberal with the ginger, and I love ginger. And what's really nice is, because I'm making a nice big pot of this, I can also keep it for when it's cool and drink it later when it's nice and cool. With the bicarb, I'm going to add half now, so half a teaspoon now. Yeah. And then I'm going to add, again, right at the end, just like what I'm going to be doing with the lemon. So there's many other things that you could add into a brew like this, which are also quite nice to add. You know, it is a good one, and I'm actually going to go get it right now. It's some black pepper, so I'll be back in a second. So nice to get a little bit of black pepper as well. This is for those of you who don't mind a bit of burn in your tea, because black pepper is so cleansing for the blood. And you'll see I go quite nuts with black pepper. I love it in the tea. Alright, so this is now going to go onto the stove. We're going to, I have a gas stove, which is great. I absolutely love it. So I pre-boil the water, and then I'm going to put it on the gas stove, and I'll show you what to do from there. So I'll be back in a second. Alright, so now I'm going to take our lovely hot brew and add it onto the gas, add it onto the stove. What you want to do at the beginning is you want to boil this up first. So you want to turn the heat up so that it's nice and hot, and then from there we're going to turn it down to steep. And it's also such a beautiful day outside today, and I feel like I'm missing this gorgeous day. I could be down at the beach or doing anything else. Here we are making a cold and flu brew. Alright, so just give that a nice little stir, and so while I'm bringing this to the boil, before I simmer it a little bit, I'm going to, you know, I love to put a little bit of magic, a little bit of spirit into everything that I do. So regardless of what religion or what walk of life or anything that you are, I think there's always a little bit of room for spirit. So I am going to use an old powwow charm to bless this brew. This charm was originally written into the Book of Secrets of Albertus Magnus, And this charm is supposed to stop the spreading of fire, but I'm using it in this particular remedy today because I have a fever. And so I want to also bring the symptoms of that fever right down. So you'll hear that the charm speaks a little bit about the fiery brand heats, the fiery brand sweats. And this is to get rid of fever in the body as well. Fiery brand, stop your heat. Fiery brand, stop your sweat. So I'm using this specifically rather than chanting it over my physical person. I'm using it over the brew that I'm making, and it works like a charm. You would kind of hold both of your hands over the pot and say your own prayer, or one such as this. So I move my hand over the brew because that puts my intention into the work that I'm doing. And it kind of energizes or blesses the pot while I'm working with it. You don't have to do this, but I like to do this. So here we go. You recite it 3 times. Our dear Sarah journeyed through the land, having a fiery hot brand in her hand. The fiery brand heats, the fiery brand sweats. Fiery brand, stop thy heat. Fiery brand, stop your sweat. And then we blow. And again. Our dear Sarah journeyed throughout the land, having a fiery hot brand in her hand. The fiery brand heats, the fiery brand sweats. Fiery brand, stop your heat. Fiery brand, stop your sweat. And one last time. Our dear Sarah journeyed throughout the land, having a fiery hot brand in her hand. The fiery brand heats, the fiery brand sweats. Fiery brand, stop your heat. Fiery brand, stop your sweat. In the name of God the Father, and of God the Son, and of God the Holy Spirit. So because this charm, it is in fact a Christian charm, and it comes from the Pennsylvania Dutch braucherei tradition. We always end it with drawing 3 crosses in the name of God the Father, and God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. So now, once it started to boil, I now turned the temperature right down, and I'm just going to allow this to brew a little bit, to simmer, just for a few minutes, just to extract the active properties out of the ginger. Remember that ginger is a root. It takes a little while for ginger to, the active ingredients to come into the water, a decoction we would call this. And then the olive leaf as well needs to extract. Some of the positive qualities of the lemon and the bicarb might be cooked out, and that's why we add the other half in at the end. So once the pot has been simmering for 5 to 10 minutes, should be good, then take it off the stove. You can use any way to strain this. I have muslin cloth that I sometimes use. I use a normal good old-fashioned cooking sieve sometimes. But I must say what I'm really enjoying using at the moment, just simply because it's so much easier, is just a good old tea plunger or a coffee plunger, and it's also so nice and easy to clean. So you go ahead and you take your beautiful infusion, nice and steaming, and you add it just like that. And I do try and leave that stuff behind, but it's up to you. You can, in fact, and I'll tell you what to do a little bit. You know what? Go ahead and chuck that in. I'll tell you, if you're going to want to use those ingredients again, then you can do a secondary infusion later and actually make a cold brew out of this as well. So you can add a little bit of that in there. Because it's also perhaps nice to just let it steep a little longer. Oh, you can hear me sniffing away. Okay, so while that's just, we always stir anti-clockwise, right, to bring health back into the body. This is for us in the southern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere friends go the other way around. So we go and we add another little dash of the bicarb. I would say the first round we used half a teaspoon, so this we're just going to use a pinch. So just a pinch of cork soda, a little bit of bicarb in there, and another dash of lemon. Fresh lemons, obviously best. And really, if you've got lots and lots of sinus, lots of phlegm on the chest, please use lots of lemon. Be liberal with it. And then when you're ready to strain, if you're feeling brave, you can add a little bit more cayenne pepper, but there's no need for that. So you go ahead and you just plunge your tea down, and it's now ready for drinking. Nice and hot. The hotter the tea, the better the brew. So we can go ahead and just enjoy this. Now, with this, with what's left over in the strainer, you can actually go ahead and add. You can go and top it up with either boiling water or cold water, and you can just lift the plunger up a little bit and continue to let it brew again. So you can probably do, because I've still got another cup in here easily, and you can probably go and do 2 or 3 more of these plungers with topping up with the water, because the ginger will keep going and some of the other ingredients in there as well. And then I'm going to add some honey as well. This is a honey that was a gift from a friend of mine, and it comes from Franschhoek, Paarl side. It's absolutely gorgeous honey. It's from Franschhoek, sorry. My flu brain. This is the farmstead. It's raw honey. Thank you, Jules and Saba and Warren, for decanting this gorgeous raw honey into this little container for me. It's got the most beautiful flavor. I'm a big fan of using local honeys because they've got all the right magic in them from our environment to add good positive benefits to the body. So remember, we never ever cook honey. We must never boil honey, so only add it at the end, and then you can go in and stir it into your tea. And that's it. I'm now going to get back into bed, cover myself up with some blankets, enjoy my beautiful cold and flu brew, and maybe watch a movie, read a book, or take a nap. So that's me for today, everybody. Thank you so much for enjoying this video with me, and I hope that nobody needs to use it anytime soon. Tokozani, Satnam, stay blessed and take care.